Hey everybody, I just wanted to get on here real quick and give a little bit of an update about what's been going on with us and also have you guys be praying for a few things. And then I was going to share a message that has been on my heart during this time of year as we are getting ready for our Christmas program. And I do want to say that if you are coming to the Christmas program at our school, if you're somebody that's here in Honduras and you're maybe you can come to our program. You may not want to watch this video because I'm going to be sharing the message I'll be sharing at the Christmas video, at the Christmas program, or you're just going to have to maybe hear it twice. So this is the message I will be sharing that night. So if you are going to be coming to the video thing, you maybe can just listen to the update and then stop when I get into the message because you will be hearing that message this Thursday, which is the night of our Christmas program. But first, I wanted to start off by saying thank you guys for praying for us. Everything. We did have a good trip to the states. We were up there for a few days to celebrate Thanksgiving with our son Drew, and then we were able to get some of the stuff that we needed for our school and some stuff that we needed for our Christmas program. We had a good time up in the states. We even got to see a little bit of snow, and so that was really fun. And so now we are happy to be back here in Honduras. Since we got back to Honduras, we had an outreach last Sunday, not yesterday, but the Sunday before. We had an outreach that went really well, and a lot of people got blessed during that time. And then we also this Sunday last Saturday we went and picked up Alicia's parents and then our son Drew at the airport. And so this last Sunday, Alicia's parents shared the word, and then we had a good time at the church. And so it's been a really great time since we got back. We got kind of hit the ground running when we got back, but it's been really good. And this week we're preparing for our Christmas party at Teach Me to Love, and then we're all having our program on the 18th, which is this Thursday. So we could be praying that that program goes well. The other thing I wanted to share before I get into what the lesson is for today. Sorry if you hear my dogs barking in the background. But what I wanted to share too is if you guys could just pray for missionaries, especially around the holiday seasons, because I think something that's not said very often, because I think sometimes some people might be kind of scared to share it, is that there can be many times when you're serving on the mission field that you can feel alone and kind of isolated. And that could be really tough. And that's something that sometimes maybe we don't feel like sharing as missionaries because we're like, man, we should have the joy of the Lord because we're serving Him all the time. And all these expectations that we think that people have on us. And I just want to say, if you guys maybe during this Christmas time could just say a prayer for missionaries that you know, or for people serving on the mission field, because it can be, especially around the holiday times, can be a time when we start to feel isolated and alone, away from our family and friends and different stuff like that. And it could just be tough because when we're down here on the mission field serving, the enemy is trying to get us to leave the mission field. So he also does not help with that. And I know that there's been people that I know personally that have been affected by that. And I know me personally, I kind of struggle with that too, feeling isolated and alone sometimes down here. So I just pray that I know I go through it. I know a couple other people I know that have really been going through that. And I just want to pray for them and pray for every missionary I know that they can just have the strength of the Lord and that peace that comes from Him, which I'm about to talk about, peace that comes from Him, even in those times when maybe we feel isolated and stuff. So just maybe say a prayer for a missionary this holiday season. If you remember, just pray for the missionaries that are out there serving that don't get to be with their families and stuff during the Christmas season. So I think that was something I just kind of wanted to share because that was been on my heart, and I just kind of felt that because, like I said, a couple people I know are having times with that, and then I know I've struggled with that. So I just really want to put that out there and just be open and honest. Like that is sometimes a struggle. So, uh, but what we're going to talk about today was talk about needing peace. We're going to talk about because this year's program that we're doing is all about the Prince of Peace, and we hear about Jesus being called the Prince of Peace, even when it's talking about him coming. Like when they're doing the prophecy about Jesus coming, they talk about that he's going to be called many wonderful counselor, and then Prince of Peace is one of those things. And we want to talk about what does that mean? What does that look like that he's the Prince of Peace? And the first thing that we want to look at is that we need to look at what our definition of peace is first. And when we talk about peace, so many times we have the definition and we believe it's like the absence of conflict or strife, to not have any of that going on in our lives, that's what peace is. And yes, that is a part of peace, but really if we want to look at what the peace we're talking about here, we need to look at the word shalom, which merely when they talk about peace, they use that word a lot in the Bible text. And what that word means is not just simply an absence of conflict, but a fulfillment of happiness and feeling fulfilled in every way. So if we're going to have true peace like what Jesus says he provides, then we are not just looking at absence of conflict, but we are also looking at being fulfilled in every way. And so when we look at that, that's what we have to remember. So we maybe need to change what our definition of peace is. And look at that when we're looking at Jesus, the Prince of Peace, that he's not just talking about simply absence of conflict, but he's also talking about being fulfilled in every way. And so we look at that, and so then we look at how are three ways. Here's three ways that we know that Jesus is the Prince of Peace, that he is who he says he is. He is who he was prophesied to be, that he is the Prince of Peace. And the first one is that he is the one who makes peace between God and men. And we see that in Isaiah, in the prophecy talking about the coming Lord. It says that in Isaiah 9:6, it says, "For us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulders, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace." So even in the foretelling of it, he's named as the Prince of Peace. Why? Because that's why he came. Came to make peace between God and man. So we know that he's the Prince of Peace because he came to make peace, right? And so that's the first way that we can see that he is the Prince of Peace, is because that was the whole reason he came, was to make peace between God and man, and make sure that we could be fulfilled in every way, right? The second one we find here is says he makes peace in this life possible because of his saving work. And to show that that is true, we see it in John chapter 14:27. There's a lot of verses I could use for this one, but I like John 14:27 because it says, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you, not as the world gives do I give to you. Let your hearts not be troubled, neither let them be afraid." And what we are seeing here in that is he's talking about that peace I leave with you, is that I can have a peace beyond my circumstances. Even if it seems like everything around me is not going well or is falling apart, I can still have peace because he is that peace. And that what we have to realize when we talk about this, that kind of peace that we're talking about only comes from Christ. He's the only true provider of the peace that we're talking about here, about that peace that leaves us fulfilled in every way, that Jesus is the only source. And it says here that he leaves that peace with us. He gives it to us. Like we didn't have to earn it. He gives it to us and he leaves that with us so that in this world we do not have to be troubled or be afraid, that no matter what we're going through, what situation we're facing, that we can have peace knowing that he is with us. And that is how we know that he's the Prince of Peace, because the first one was he is the one who makes peace between us and God. And he is the one who makes peace possible in this life while we're living on this earth. And of course, you probably know where the third one's going. He will complete his peace perfectly when he comes again. And we see this in Revelation 21:4. He says, "He will wipe away every tear from the eyes, and death shall be no more. Neither shall there be mourning, crying, pain of any time, and all these things will have passed away." So what you're seeing here is that we're going to have that complete peace when we go back up with him. We're not going to have tears. We're not going to have pain. We're not going to have mourning. We're not going to have anything but true joy and peace in our lives. And it is promised to us in Revelation that that is what it is. So he will complete that perfect peace when we go to heaven. We can be in great peace and have true peace here on earth, but I don't think that we can have that complete 100% perfect peace until we reach heaven and we're with him and stuff like that. And I believe that's what that verse is kind of saying, is he's going to wipe away that thing. Because here we are going to have things that hurt. We're going to have things that are said about us or done to us that are going to hurt. So we can't have 100% that perfect peace where there's no more pain and no more hurt. But we can have peace in those times, knowing that God is with us, he sees us, and that he will help us, and that he tells us many times in the Bible to not be afraid, because he has overcome the world and he can overcome anything that we face. And so I just wanted to share that real quickly, that is what we are celebrating this year at our Christmas program, is that Jesus is the Prince of Peace. And what does that mean? And the main thing that we have to look at with this, with it being Prince of Peace, is it is not only just a title that we give to him. Him being the Prince of Peace is a call to action for us believers. It's calling us to be peace providers. that we are to love and serve others, and in such a loving way that maybe they can feel a little bit of that peace that he talks about in the Bible. And when we share the gospel with someone who's hurting or going through a struggle or who hasn't heard it before, they're hearing about this peace maybe for the first time, and maybe they don't even really truly understand it at first, the peace that comes with Christ. But as we love them and we share with them and as we serve them the way that Christ wants us to serve, they can experience that peace in their lives. So when we say that Jesus is the Prince of Peace, it's not only just a title, it's a call to action for all us who are believers and call ourselves Christians and followers of Christ, that we need to be kind of some peacemakers. And that doesn't mean that we just let anything go through and we don't ever get angry or upset and we're always just like, oh yay, and all stuff. That's not what that means. But what it means is that then the way that we love and serve others and the way that we share the Lord with others, that they can understand and get that sense of peace, that no matter what's going through, we're not pretending their problems don't exist. We're telling them there's an answer to that problem, and that answer is in Jesus. We're not acting like that addiction doesn't exist, but we have the answer to break that stronghold in Jesus. So we're not pretending that things don't exist, but we're showing them that we serve a God who has all the power to defeat any stronghold in this world. And we can give that peace. And with Jesus being the Prince of Peace, and if we are following Jesus, then we need to be providers of peace. It is a call to action to us. So I hope you enjoy that. That is my update right now and my message for what we'll be speaking at this year's Christmas event, talking about that, and hopefully praying that if anybody's coming to that event that hasn't heard about this or hasn't given their heart to God, that maybe they will this day, because I hope that they can receive that gift. That's one of the greatest gifts we can receive, is to receive Jesus in our hearts and see our lives transformed. So we're praying that that is the impact we can have. And we are so grateful for our students who are just doing such an amazing job with the practicing and getting ready for it, and they're all excited about it. And they've got a lot of the girls have their dresses all picked out already, and the guys, and so they're super excited. So we're looking forward to what should be a great event. And I hope that if you're listening to this and maybe you need some peace in your life, that you will remember that there is the Prince of Peace who loves you and wants a relationship with you. All you have to do is ask. All you have to do is seek him, and he will come to you, right? And again, if you ever have any messages or questions or someone that you need to talk to or just want to have pray for you, me and Alicia are just always a message away, and we'd love to hear from you. We love you guys, and we thank you all of our supporters and friends and family who make it possible for us to do what we do. We thank each and every one of you. We love you guys, and I hope you have a very, very Merry Christmas. And I'm going to end this video, like I said, I'll probably end a lot of my videos like I used to end my class. I'm going to remind you guys of 3 things before I go. One,